From the studios of KSBI Television in Oklahoma City, this is Oklahoma's College and University Academic Challenge Bowl. Teams from your favorite Oklahoma colleges compete for school pride and for $200,000 in scholarships, made possible by the Chickasaw Nation. This is Mind Games with your host, Jennifer Reynolds.
Welcome to Mind Games on KSBI. Each week we host two academic teams in a battle of wits. Oklahoma college students come here to represent their schools and show off their brain power. The students are playing for $200,000 in scholarships thanks to the Chickasaw Nation and the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board. This is our fall championship, the final round. Let's go ahead and meet the two teams who have made it to this final game. From Midlands Community College in El Reno, we have Tracy Hickman. He's from Rock Creek and studying business. Dustin Austin is accounting major. He comes from Yukon. And from El Reno, we have Aaron Reed, psychology and nursing major. Congratulations on making it to the final, and good luck to you. From Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford, we have Josh Oliveira. He's from Cordell High School. He's studying psychology. Zeke Mills is from Springfield, Missouri. He's a pharmacy student. And Tanner Fisher studying communications and theater. He comes to us from Calumet. Congratulations to you all as well. Have a great game. Good luck to everybody. But before we get started, let's review the rules.
Here's how we play. There are two 7-minute rounds of toss-up and bonus questions. Players earn 20 points per toss-up in the first round and 10 for each bonus that doubles in round 2. Each team could win an extra $250 by answering the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board bonus round question correctly. If a player interrupts a question and gives a wrong answer, the other team receives 10 points. Test your knowledge at home as we play Mind Games.
Each round consists of 7 minutes or 18 questions, whichever comes first. And our first round begins right now. Our toss-up question in the category of literature. F. Scott Fitzgerald met this man at the Dingo Bar in Paris in 1925. This manly writer teased him for being unable to hold his liquor. Name this author of A Movable Feast and The Sun Also Rises. Tanner.
Hemingway.
Ernest Hemingway is correct. Here's your literature bonus question now. What author accidentally killed his wife Joan while trying to shoot a cocktail glass off her head, a la William Tell?
Rossini.
Burroughs. William S. Burroughs. Not a great claim to fame there, but interesting anyway. Science is our next category. Toss-up. This is a toss-up for either team. And here's the question. The viral type is associated with an infection of the upper respiratory tract, while the inclusion type occurs in newborns. Name this discoloring inflammation. Zeke.
Jaundice.
That is incorrect. Pink eye or conjunctivitis. Take a look at your screens for our next toss-up question. It comes to us from the category of fine arts. His woman baking bread is seen here. His most famous paintings depict workers in the fields. One shows three... Zeke.
Millet.
Millet is correct. Jean-François Millet has the famous The Gleaners, 3 women learning down to retrieve leftover bits of grain. Here's our fine arts bonus question for you now. What painter of the apotheosis of Homer also made the provocative La Grande Odalisque?
Bernini.
It's Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres. Ingres. I'm going to go with Ingres. We'll see. You say it the way you want, I'll say it the way I want, and we won't call the whole thing off. If you're keeping score at home, it's Ingres is the name of the artist. History is our next category, and here's the question. This document was written in part by James Buchanan and is primarily associated with Pierre Soule. It was issued in 1854 and explained why the United States should pursue its interests in Cuba. Yes, Dustin.
Ostend Manifesto.
Ostend Manifesto is correct. Both teams on the board. Now here's your history bonus question. What Minnesota congressman gave his name to the 1919 National Prohibition Act?
Minnesota. Smoot. Go. Smoot.
Volstead. The Volstead Act. Next category is current events. This is a toss-up. A blindfolded child drew one of 3 names in November 2012, picking the successor to Pope Shenouda III. Shenouda, who died in March of 2012, was the leader of this Christian... Zeke?
The Coptic Church.
That's Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria, or COPS. Correct. Current events bonus question for you now. Name the real estate magnate and sometime presidential candidate who was widely mocked for offering President Obama $5 million for his college records.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is correct. Literature is our next category. This is a toss-up. This rival of D'Annunzio left Mountain Giants unfinished at his death, but he did complete hundreds of short stories. This Italian's best-known play is 6 characters in... Dustin.
Pirandello.
That's right, Luigi Pirandello, 6 characters in search of an author was the play. Literature bonus question for you now. In this Maurice Sendak storybook, the main character is told, "We'll eat you up, we love you so."
Where the Wild Things Are.
Where the Wild Things Are is correct. Next question is our Stafford Air and Space Museum science question. Here it is. While the Huygens probe landed here in January 2005, discoveries are still being made in the telemetry. This is the only moon in our solar system with an atmosphere thicker than Earth's. Tracy.
Titan.
Titan is correct. Take a look at your screen there. This science bonus question is a visual one. This constellation that borders Crux on 3 sides contains the nearest star system to our solar system. Do I have an answer?
Sirius.
Actually, Centaurus. Next category is humanities. The toss-up question is, in English common law, passing off pertains to unregistered ones. They protect intellectual property like logos. Registered ones, Tracy?
Trademarks.
That's correct. Registered ones use a capital R in a circle, and the unregistered ones use the symbol TM. Here's your humanities bonus question now. Aere's consort Ron, Poseidon's queen Amphitrite, and Neptune's queen Cilicia were said to be responsible for this object's saltiness.
The sea. The ocean.
Ocean. Ocean.
Ocean is correct, or oceans, seas. Would have taken any of that. History is our next category, and here is the toss-up question. This 1866 Supreme Court decision dealt with the rights of military officials to put civilians on trial. It is often confused with an 1861 case with a similar Latin name. Tracy?
Ex parte Milligan.
That's right. All right. History bonus question now for Redlands. What first lady was born Thelma Catherine Ryan?
Catherine Ryan.
I guess Eleanor Roosevelt. That's just a guess.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
It was actually Pat Nixon. Her dad called her Pat because she was Irish, and she was born the day after, or the day before St. Patrick's Day. Geography is our next category. This country has a rabbit-proof fence stretching all the way across its westernmost province. When it was built in the early 20th century, maintenance workers rode camels up and down the length of the fence. Dustin?
Ethiopia.
That is incorrect. Tanner's going to take a try.
Sudan.
It's actually Australia. Remember, they have all the camels, and they still have the problem with it. Literature is our next category, and here is the question. In 1960, a judge asked, "Is this a book you would wish your wife or servants to read?" But its literary merit was defended well enough to beat the charge of obscenity. Name this D.H. Lawrence book. Zeke.
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Correct. Literature bonus question for you now. This book tells of Henry David Thoreau's experiences living in a cabin on a pond.
Walden.
Walden will be fine. Yeah. Science is our next category, and this is a toss-up. Its law relates the lengths of 2 sides of a triangle and the angle between those sides, and simplifies to the Pythagorean theorem when the angle is 90 degrees. Zeke.
The law of cosines.
Well, yes, cosine is correct. The trig function is 1 at 0 degrees and -1 at 180, for those of you who are trying to keep score. Science bonus question for you now. Typically symbolized by a capital G, its value is 6.673 times 10 to the negative 11th power cubic meters per kilogram per second squared.
Gibbs free energy, that's wrong.
Universal gravitational constant. That was a tough question. The score is tied, and that's the end of round 1. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our OERB bonus questions as we continue to play Mind Game. Welcome back to Mind Games on KSBI. It's time for our Oklahoma Energy Resources Board bonus questions. Players are competing for extra points and extra scholarship cash in this, our fall championship. Normally, the team in the lead goes first, but we have a tie. Can it get any more exciting than this? So we flipped a coin. Southwestern is going to get the first question. Reminder, it's a 4-part multiple choice question. Here it is. Named for the farm's proprietress, This well, now in OKC city limits, blew out in March 1930, made national news, and sprayed oil and gas for a dozen miles in all directions? A, was it the Mabel Bassett? B, Wild Mary Sudick? C, Nellie Johnston? Or D, Liddy Marland?
The C.
C,
Yes.
Nellie Johnston. Actually, it was B, the Wild Mary Sudick. It's one that blew out, made the headlines. All right, here's your question, Redlands. Most Oklahoma rock layers that contain oil and natural gas date back to these geologic periods. A, Ordovician and Pennsylvanian. B, Permian and Triassic. G, Jurassic and Cretaceous. Or D, Pleistocene and Holocene.
B.
Actually, it's A, Ordovician and Pennsylvania, between 500, I guess, and 280 million years ago, by my ciphering. So I don't know that you can trust it. Let's go ahead and talk to our players about this time of year. People are talking about their resolutions. Tracy, what's yours?
I don't really make resolutions because I don't like making promises I can't keep, even if they're to myself. But if I had to, I would bring back basketball.
You're gonna
Maybe
have
the
to-
greatest game ever invented.
You're going to have to explain that to me.
Well, it was a movie in like 1998, and it was a combination between baseball and basketball, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
All right. Okay, we'll expect you to work on that. Dustin, how about you?
My New Year's resolution was to grow 4 inches taller over the year.
All right. Well,
So,
we'll have to check
I'm
in with
drinking
you.
a lot of milk and
fall and see what happens. Aaron.
I'm just happy that I survived the zombie apocalypse known as Finals Week.
Okay. Well, you know, you got to just aim where you think you can get to, right, Aaron? So-
Exactly.
All right, Josh Oliveira, how about you? What is your resolution?
Read more classic literature and continue working on my beard.
Okay, how long? You want it longer, fuller?
You know, just fuller. I'm trying to connect the stash to the actual beard.
Okay. All right, well, we'll see how that goes. Zeke, how about you?
Like Josh, I want to read more.
Oh, I thought you were going to grow a beard.
No.
Tanner.
So boring. I want to travel. I want to get somewhere outside the country at some point over the year, possibly Ireland, if possible.
All right, well, it'll be fun to see how all that pans out. We'll all be interested to see how our last round goes. Round 2 is coming up when Mind Games continues in just a moment. All the points are double, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Mind Games here on KSBI. This is our fall championship. We've got a tie game going. 2 teams left. Everybody's tied. The points are going to double in this round, so this is going to be fun. Let me introduce a couple of players who are joining us. Kelly Tapto is subbed in for Redlands, and for Southwestern Oklahoma State University, Jim Ferguson and Erica Christner have both subbed in. Jim's from Elk City. He's a history major, and Eric is a math major from Drummond, Oklahoma. All right, good luck to everybody. Here we go. 2 main rounds consist of 18 questions or 7 minutes, whichever comes first. And that second round begins right now. Here's our first question. Take a look at your screens, if you will. This is a fine arts question. One of the 20th century's greatest... Jim.
Norman Rockwell.
That is incorrect. Let me finish the question. One of the 20th century's greatest advertising artists, he may be best known for his depictions of the Arrow Collar Man. Name this German-born illustrator. Dustin made it.
Nast.
Actually, it's Leyendecker, Joseph Christian Leyendecker. Here's our next question. Comes from the category of history. The Portuguese first arrived in this country in 1505 and soon set up a fort at Colombo. It was later controlled. Dustin.
Sri Lanka.
That's right. It was later controlled by the Dutch and then the British under the name Ceylon. This is an island south of India. History bonus question for you now. Which of Henry VIII's wives was the mother of Queen Elizabeth?
Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn is correct. Next category is pop culture. Here's the toss-up question. The Giants swept the Tigers in the 2012 World Series. This Major League Baseball team was the previous World Series. Zeke.
St. Louis Cardinals.
That is incorrect. Was the previous World Series sweeper beating the Colorado Rockies 4-0 in 2007. Tracy.
Boston Red Sox.
Boston Red Sox is correct. Okay, here's your pop culture bonus question. Coach Mike Mularkey has banned touchdown dances, but this last in scoring NFL team hasn't had anything to dance about in the Gator Bowl.
Jaguars.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. All right. Here's our next question, toss-up question from the category of literature. If you would, take a look at your screen. This author of the Artemonov Business was the first president of the Union of Soviet Writers. The city of his birth was renamed in his honor. Zeke.
Maxim Gorky.
That is correct, although in 1991 it reverted to Nizhny Novgorod. Here's your literature bonus question. What Gunther Grass novel is narrated by the stunted Oscar Matzerath?
The Tin Drum.
You are right. He wasn't sure about that one, but it was correct. Science is the next category. Here's the toss-up question. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has found evidence of this major Martian atmospheric component precipitating on the polar caps. This snow falls at negative 193 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 125 degrees centigrade. It's commonly called dry ice. Zeke.
CO2.
CO2 is correct, or carbon dioxide. Here's your science bonus question. Its cylindrical shape, self-assembling nature, and ability to incorporate metal into its shell has this largest virus being researched as a microelectrode.
The megavirus.
It's actually the tobacco mosaic virus, or TMV. That's really kind of a fascinating story. Humanities is our next category. Here's the toss-up question. The Eastern Orthodox Church celebrates this saint's feast day on July 30th, but in the West, we commemorate him or them, depending on whom you ask, on February 14th. Who is this? Zeke.
Saint Valentine.
Saint Valentine, the patron saint of lovers. Here's your humanities bonus question. To what school of philosophy do Charles Peirce, William James, and John Dewey belong?
Structuralism.
Pragmatism. All right, we have a tie game. History is our next category. Here's the toss-up. Thomas Faranor's maid was the first one to die in this event, which began when Faranor's bakery in Pudding Lane caught fire. Name? Zeke.
Great Fire of London.
The Great Fire of London is correct, back in 1666. Here's your history bonus question now. These folks, whose collective name is now a byword for people who hate technology, began attacking factories in 1811.
For Jim.
Technophobes?
Actually, it's the Luddites. Take a look at your screens for our next toss-up question. The category is geography. This flat-topped basaltic geologic formation spreads through parts of New Mexico and Colorado and is also partially in Cimarron County, Oklahoma. It contains the highest point in our state. Tracy.
Black Mesa.
Black Mesa is correct. And now here's your geography bonus question. What canal linking the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea opened in 1869?
Suez.
Suez Canal is correct. Literature is our next category, and here is the question. What American author introduced readers to the car dealer Julian English in his 1934 breakthrough novel, Appointment in Samara? Dustin.
Forster.
That is incorrect. Zeke.
F. Scott Fitzgerald.
John O'Hara is the author we needed there. Science is our next category, and here is the question. It's produced using the contact process. When this is added to sugar, a dehydration reaction produces a column of black carbon. Name this diprotic strong acid with formula H2S. Tracy.
Sulfuric acid.
Right, H2SO4. Sulfuric acid is correct. Science bonus question for you now. This chemistry law states that the overall enthalpy change for a reaction is equal to the sum of the enthalpy changes of each step in the reaction.
Hess's law?
Hess's law is correct. Fine arts is our next category. As a young man, he won the Prix de Rome for Clovie et Clotilde. His Dom Procopio was rediscovered in 1906, and after being lost for a few decades, who is this French composer of Carmen? Tracy.
Bizet.
Georges Bizet. Fine arts bonus question now. With what instrument is Yehudi Menuhin most associated?
I don't know. Piano? Piano?
Violin. Next toss-up question. History is the category. It ended shortly after the Wuchang Uprising in 1911. Name this Chinese... Dustin.
Tang?
Incorrect. Name this Chinese dynasty whose... Zeke.
King or Qing.
Qing. Name this Chinese dynasty whose last emperor was a boy called Puyi. Qing is correct. History bonus question now for Southwestern. What I word designates the Palestinian campaign to shake off Israelis that began in 1987?
I don't know. Pass. I don't know.
All right. The Intifada. Current events question for you now. Over the past decade, this currency has experienced rapid devaluation. The passage of the Public Emergency Law in 2002 ended efforts to maintain one-to-one parity between the U.S. dollar and this Argentine currency. Zeke.
Peso.
Peso is correct. Here's your current events bonus question. The 2012 Ig Nobel Literature Prize went to this U.S. governmental agency for a report about reports that recommends the preparation of a report about the report about reports about reports.
Secretary of State or Department of State.
Actually, no. It was the GAO, or General Accountability Office, for the report entitled Actions Needed to Evaluate the Impact of Efforts to Estimate Cost of Reports and Studies. Congratulations to Redlands on your fall championship. Great game, both teams. You're all wonderful champions. How about a round of applause for these folks? We'll be back in a moment to find out about scholarship money and when you'll see Redlands back here when we come back. Welcome back to KSBI and Mind Games and our fall championship. Congratulations to our winner, Redlands Community College. Here's a look at what they're taking home just for this game. $5,000 for Redlands, which is going to put their total up over $13,000 for the semester. Southwestern takes home $3,000 tonight, more than $10,000 during the course of the semester. A big thanks to the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board and our friends at the Chickasaw Nation for making that scholarship money possible. Thanks to both of these teams for playing. Thanks to our judges, Gail Bliss and Dan Bashir. And thanks to you for playing Mind Games.
Mind Games is a production of KSBI Television in Oklahoma City, made possible by the Chickasaw Nation.